Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today I want to cover a topic that is starting to be alarming because it's affecting millions and millions of Americans who are age 55 and older. And that basically is the trailer parks and the mobile home estates that millions of these Americans live in. The last bastion of affordable living for these seniors is under pressure. Soon, seniors will be squeezed out of their trailer parks, homes forever. And the reason? Increased space rents. And I'm not talking about a 5% increase year over year. I'm talking about a doubling of the space rents that these seniors are forced to pay for their trailers that are sitting on the land in which they rent within these parks. In 2017, 17 million people lived in trailer parks in the US. And the supermajority of these people, of course, are Americans who are 55 and older. In 2022, that number has jumped to around 22 million. So that is about 6% of our entire population. So that's a lot of people living in mobile home parks. The biggest reason for this is economic, of course. Most seniors are on budgets, tight budgets. And so, what they pay for space rent, what they pay for utilities, groceries, and all of that, not to mention medical, is tightly monitored. So, there's very little give in the way of what they can afford for increased space rent. There are 183,441 mobile home parks across the US. The average mobile home price in 2017 was 75,000. The average price today is about 100,000. Now, I want to just take a quick minute to explain the quality of these homes. These trailers and mobile homes that you see in these parks these days, they're not like they were back in the 60s and 70s and 80s. Back then, there were very little regulations that dictated how trailers were to be built and manufactured. In the early 70s, HUD came out with a uniform code to more regulate that process. And ever since the mid 70s, the quality of construction of new trailers and mobile homes have gone up significantly. So that's why the average price is about 100,000 because you're getting quite a home for that. So I just wanted to let you know that today's parks are not like what you see in the old Trailer Park Boys episodes or things like that. It isn't really that way. Yes, some of those still exist, but the lion's share are very modern and updated. The average space rent that people pay across the country for their space rent is $600, give or take. That's about what it is. But over the last 3 years, that has been going up and up and up. And now, in some places, it's $1,000. And the reason for that, I'll discuss shortly. Soon, the price will double in a lot of mobile home parks that are bought by investor groups and where updates are made to the amenities and common areas within the park. So we're talking about investor groups coming into these parks, buying them from the mom and pop that were running it. And they make some changes, some upgrades to the common areas, like maybe a community room or maybe some laundry facilities, or, in fancier parks, maybe some, sporting um, setups that they have, a tennis court or a gym. Uh, they make some upgrades to those areas and then they jack up the space rent. Corporate investors are buying up parks to remodel and revitalize. Uh, Examples. Now, the company owned by Warren Buffett, the billionaire, Berkshire Hathaway, they bought Clayton Homes not too long ago for $1.7 billion. Clayton Homes is one of the largest and one of the best manufacturer home builders in the country. And so Warren Buffett's organization sees the value in going in and buying up these parks, making improvements, and then having them as solid investments through high space rent charges. There are several other manufacturers that are in this game. Some of the good ones, meaning quality ones as far as manufacturing, would be Fleetwood Enterprises, Champion Home Builders, and others that aren't as good as with reputation as far as their quality. They aren't thought of as high. A couple of them would be like Oakwood Homes and Freedom Homes. One of the largest companies that owns mobile home parks that are buying them up is called RV Horizons. And they are located, or they have businesses in 25 different states in the US. Its business model is simply to buy up mom and pop parks and raise the rent. And that's exactly what they've been doing. RV Horizons also runs a mobile home university, they call it, a so-called investors boot camp that teaches people how to buy mobile home parks. Raising the rent is simply part of the day one purchase because often the mom and pop has not raised the rent in years. Just 5 of the biggest mobile home real estate companies now own nearly 300,000 sites. Now, these aren't just mobile home parks, but they're businesses that are adjacent to that are similar to it, smaller in scope, but yet they still own them. The largest of these is a Michigan-based company called Sun Communities. And what's interesting about that is I recently read an article where it was the most affordable states to live in the US. And number 1 on the list was Mississippi for cost of living. Number 2 is Michigan. So it's ironic that this one company, Sun Communities, it runs out of Michigan, where they get to enjoy the low cost of living to do their business. And yet they're involved in 25 different states buying up motor homes or mobile homes and trailer parks and then jacking up rents, often doubling them. Ironic and sad. What can seniors do about this? Or even if they're not seniors, but they're living in a mobile home parks, what can those people do? Not a lot. And the reason for that is because they don't own the land. So if they are upset with this space rent gouging when they double the price, their only option at this point is to simply pick up their trailer, because they are on wheels technically. Then they have skirting that go around the house, so you don't see the wheels and the trailer that they sit on. Yes, some of them are on foundation, but most of them, the majority, still aren't. So it's not like they can just pick up and leave. By the time they get everything going and they get the permits and they get the equipment they need and the hoists and all of that, it costs between $8,000 and $10,000. So that's essentially a whole year of space rent fees just to move your trailer out of the park. So they're pretty much stuck there, and their only recourse is to pony up that extra money. So the number one thing to do in combating this trend is to make it visible. It's to come together as a group, and it's go to the local government, go to the representative, and explain what's going on and how it's hurting their livelihood. I'm talking about these senior citizen tenants in these parks, and they need to band together to fight this, because it's not going away, and in the last 3 years it's only increased. So it's seen as a wise investment for these companies to go in and do these practices, but yet the senior tenants are suffering. And if they don't come together and fight this as a group, then the seniors really have no other options. They are in mobile parks now because they've been priced out of homes. They've been priced out of condos, townhouses. Literally, the next step from a mobile home park is a sad one. It would involve living in your car or having to do van life. Who the heck wants to do van life when they're 70 years old, right? And sadly, the old saying, living in the van down by the river, that is a very real possibility. So stay tuned to this whole phenomenon and be aware, because having the knowledge is the first step in fighting this insidious process that's going on. So um, be aware, keep your eyes open, and let's try to reverse this process by making a big noise and letting our representatives know that it's just wrong. Okay, everyone, please like and subscribe if you haven't already, and please let me know your comments on this. Do you have, a mom, an aunt, or an aged uncle that's living in a mobile home park that's facing um, this increase in rent fees, in site fees? Let me know how it's affecting their lives. Okay, take care, and I'll see you on the next video.